Math 76, lesson 44, dividing a decimal number by a whole number. So, these problems generally follow the exact same rules we have for division of dollars or dollar amounts or money. So let's say we had, we'll do the same problem but in two different ways. Let's say we had 3 dividing $4.20, and then we have 3 dividing 4.2. Same rules are going to apply. And remember, this is because our divisor is a whole number. Later on, we'll learn how to divide decimals by decimals, but that's not today. So if we were to do the dollar problem, we would say 3 goes into 4 one time. We'd multiply, we'd get 3, then we'd subtract, we'd have 1 left over, we'd bring down the 2. Oh, whoops, sorry, last step. I skipped a step. Right before we start, we're going to bring up our decimal point, right? Our decimal point and our dollar sign, okay? And the same thing goes for the division of decimal by a whole number. We would say 3 goes into 4 one time. We'd bring up our decimal point. No dollar sign this time. 3 times 1 gives us 3. We subtract. We have 1. And then we would bring down the 2. Okay, so problems are looking very similar. Then we would say, how many times does 3 go into 12? The answer is 4. 3 times 4 would give us 12. That would subtract. We'd get a 0. We'd bring down our 0. 3 goes into 0, 0 times. And we have $1.40. Here, 3 goes into 12 4 times. 4 times 3 is 12. We subtract, and we've got 0. Now, we don't have to bring down another 0 because, as we learned in the previous lesson, we don't have to add extra zeros on the ends of our decimal numbers. So here we get $1.40. Here we get 1.4. So same steps, just different types of problems. We'll go ahead and do one more practice. It's actually going to be a very short lesson because it's something that we've kind of learned already, but we'll do one more practice problem. Let's say this. Let's say we've got this problem, 0.7. Oops, let's adjust our camera. Ooh, the springs on my camera are fighting against me right now. Maybe I'll just slide over. Okay, so let's say we have 0.7 divided by 5. Okay. So what we'd have to do, we'd take this fraction, we set it up as a division algorithm. It becomes 0.7 divided by 5. Right? And here we see that 5 will go into 0 times. So we'll go ahead and put our 0, place our decimal point, and then we'll move over to the 7. How many times does 5 go into 7? It goes in 1 time. Okay, so 1 times 5 gives us 5. We subtract 5 from 7. We get 2. Now, normally, in division problems, we would then write a remainder of 2/5, correct? We cannot do that with decimal numbers. So in the previous case, where it zeroed out perfectly with our decimal number, we didn't have to add any zeros, and it would have been a waste of time to do so. However, here, since our decimal number does not zero out perfectly, we do want to add those extra zeros, right? So we're going to add a placeholder 0 here. We'll bring it down. Now we have 5 into 20. 5 goes into 20 4 times. And then 4 times 5 gives me 20. I subtract, and now it zeroes out. So now I'm done. And my final answer is actually going to be 0.14, as opposed to stopping at 0.1 and then saying 2/5. So we're not going to combine our decimals with fractions. We're going to keep decimals in decimals. And we just have to add placeholder zeros until we get an answer that zeroes out. Sometimes we'll add 2 zeros. Sometimes you may even have to add 3 zeros. But the key is you add as many zeros as you need to until you get an answer that zeroes out perfectly and you have a good decimal number. If you have any questions, let me know on the school website, and I will see you in class.